Right, folks, Sunday morning, I'm just getting round to doing another edition of For Fox's Sake. And obviously it's the Norwich game. I wasn't at the game yesterday, I was at work and all that kind of shit. And I didn't listen to it at all on the radio, or what I've done is I've just waited for the highlights, because this is how I viewed the game, on the highlights. And because I do like to listen to the game, not listen to the game, I like to watch the game. I don't like to be influenced by the so-called pundits. I'll say this about pundits, right? Pundits on these games are basically players who know everything about the game but have failed at being managers, or have not had the balls to take on the game as managers. Apart from Jose Mourinho, who was on Sky, he was just filling time in. I've just had a quick look at the match of the day one, and Alan Shearer, you know, he's hell of a player, legend of a player, but he tried to be manager of Newcastle and save them and failed. So that's probably a bit harsh. I mean, he's got all his coaching badges, but why go for the pressure of being a manager and then getting slated because you're shit? Stuart Pearce, hell of a player at Forest and England and all that. No good as a fucking manager. Tony Adams, well, he does it. He does do it, don't he? He was on the Sky Southampton, on the Leicester Arsenal game. Another one, not good enough to be a manager. So why does that keep saying that on my camera face off? Do I look like John Travolta? No. Anyway, back to the game. I made a few notes, and obviously we can't win them all, can you? I mean, unless you're Liverpool, you don't seem to win them all. But when they set up, they showed you the formation, and you've seen that they've gone for the diamond thing again. I do like the diamond thing, but what I've noticed is that they can attack you down the sides, and by the time you've got somebody out there to try and defend them, you're not there in time, if you know what I mean. I don't know if that sounds right or not. It's just that you've got everything in. Instead of having your 4-4-2 or your 4-5-1 or whatever, when you've got the diamond, you seem to be just compact in the middle, and you do seem to be just a little bit vulnerable. I don't know. That's how I see it. So I don't know. No, they set up with a diamond, and it was good enough against the Villa. So why not carry on? And you know, I thought. So this is just on the highlights, because obviously I've only seen the highlights. Tillemans had a nice effort that was down to Krul's right, and he parred it. But there was one thing on that I couldn't understand. Right, is that Krul saved it but lost it. And Jamie Vardy came rushing in to score. You know, he's going for his 9th goal in 9 games. And the Norwich defender was moaning like fuck about it, because he went for it. I don't understand. Why aren't you allowed to go for it if it's like, if the keeper spills it and he's like, the ball's there, you're not allowed to go for it? Well, I'm sure Pookie would have gone for it up the other end, so fuck off. Like I said, you do tend to see when you do the diamond formation, the ball came in across and Pookie just missed it, didn't he? Some were saying like, oh, he's a great forward and all that, and he is a very good forward. Should he have gone with it with his other foot, or is he right-footed? I think he is right-footed, isn't he? So you've got to lead with your favourite foot, ain't you, in that kind of situation? So yeah, you know, they should have scored, but fortunately they didn't. I noticed on the set pieces again, Leicester are mixing up the set pieces, because the defenders of Norwich, they did actually have Johnny Evans covered. They were boxing him in, kind of thing, you know, to stop him from doing that spin off like he did against Villa and just nod it in. So, you know, Leicester are mixing it up. They play in a short corner instead of just pumping it in over and that kind of thing. So it is good to see. When Norwich also did score, so I'm just looking at my notes, so you have to read it and then I have to remember it, because, you know, I am over 50. When Norwich did actually score, it did look like the diamond formation at that time failed. I don't know what had gone off, but Ndidi had seemed to have got sucked in, so the ball played through. Soyuncu was struggling to get back, and he did score the goal. And it was a very good goal, and it was from the look of the highlights, because obviously I've only seen the highlights. It looked like Norwich deserved it. I think the highlights are a bit. They can make things look really good, can't they? But certain things look good. But there you go. Then there was the issue of when Bundia was injured on the side there. And they were all screaming, well, the Norwich fans and that was screaming for it to be kicked out. I'm not a big fan of this kicking it out, right? Unless it's a head injury and somebody's not moving, or if somebody's like really snapped the leg and stuff, then I can't see the point in kicking the ball out. I think he should still carry on playing. I really, really do. It's just because what's happening is players are going down. And I wouldn't say they're faking injury, but yeah, they're faking injury, aren't they? They're just basically just stopping the game, disrupting the game, so the team that's probably attacking can't attack. And like, you're kicking the ball out, and it's just a complete waste of fucking time. And perhaps if we stop kicking the ball out so much, though not me, because obviously I don't play. If you stop kicking the ball out so much, these players would then stop actually going down, rolling around, making out there's an injury that's like life-threatening or losing a limb, and get up and get on with the game. Because it's time and time again, you do actually see this where players go down, rolling around, they've got their arm up like this, and then there's fuck all wrong with them. And all it's done is just broken up the play, and you've all got back and defended and everything. So I'm not into this thing. Because actually what actually came out of this was the tackle on Ricardo, and then the ball was booted out, and then we actually had this thing where the throw-in came in, and to be fair, I honestly couldn't see what the problem was with Iheanacho anyway. The ref never said you've got to give it back, and I'm not into this thing either where you're kicking it out and then you kick it back, and then all of a sudden, if you're going to do that, I'll just kick it out and give it a kick out and give them the throw in, and then let's box them in. Because it's all this, I don't know, they keep saying that it's the right thing to do, the gentleman thing to do, all this. I'm getting fucking fed up with it. Just play the bleeding game. It's because, I mean, he got up that Bundia, or whatever his fucking name is, what have I wrote his name down? Bundia, or whatever his name is, he got up and he carried on playing. I can't understand the fucking logic in it, It's just there to disrupt the players, so just disrupt the game. So, no, stop doing this fucking kicking it out and all this shit, and just get on with the game. So I've got absolutely no problem with Iheanacho getting the ball, and I would say that as well if it was another team. Let's stop this fucking about and get on with the game. And the thing as well is that it was a wild tackle on Iheanacho. It was an awful, basically a leg sweep. It was just done with malicious intent in my book to take the player out because he'd done what he did. But if we all started to say let's get on with the game and play it like it is, that's it. I can't see the problem in it, honestly can't. Who were the lad who got booked as well for going down and just basically grabbing him round the shirt? He's got a fucking Alice band on. Get a fucking haircut. Fucking pouncing around with your hair like that with the fucking Alice band. Fucking unbelievable. So yeah, he got booked for that, and I think I would have actually gone round and booked a few more, because on the simple fact it was intimidation and stuff like that. So there you go. Right, so let's get on to that. The goal, Vardy's. Well, it wasn't Vardy's goal. It wasn't Vardy's goal. You can dress it up however you like. His header was going wide. But what I will say is that if Krul hadn't been fucking about trying to put off Iheanacho and pushing him about and stuff, which probably should have been a penalty because he was giving him the push and the elbow off, he might have actually not knocked it into his own net. So reward, just desserts there. That was it. After half time, obviously, it looked like Leicester went back to a 4-4-2. They played a lot better. They seemed to be attacking better. They basically just couldn't score. Krul played well. Norwich defended in numbers, and they defended really well, to be fair to them. They really got stuck in. They're a good little battle inside, to be fair to Norwich, and I'd like to see Norwich stay up, to be fair. He's the biggest pigeon sitting on top of our tree there. He'd make a Christmas dinner. It looked like Norwich were really defending well. They got sorted, they got organised, and they didn't really suffer anything from Leicester, but Leicester were trying. There was a penalty appeal on Chilwell. I haven't got a fucking clue what that were all about. Why did that go to VAR? Can somebody tell me why it went to VAR? Because I just couldn't see anything wrong with it. Even when they're all Leicester players were appealing. I thought, what the fuck are you appealing for? They both went for the ball. There was nobody's head were in the way or anything like that. Just fucking get on with it. All this VAR shit, it's ruining the game. I thought it'd be alright, but it's just a backup for players to try and disrupt things, and then you're all standing there waiting for this VAR thing. Oh, fucked if I know. There was one part where Pukki caught Soyuncu off. Soyuncu were trying to play him offside. I haven't got a fucking clue what they were doing there, but there again, Soyuncu has been playing so well this year. When he does fuck up or makes a mistake or is caught out, it emphasises it even more. So, you know, it's the way it goes. But yeah, he's played well, so he's going to make a mistake now and again. Let's just hopefully it ain't too costly when he does. But to cap it all off, I've wrote here, Leicester are off the game. They just couldn't break Norwich down. Norwich were well organised. They knew what they were doing. They came with a game plan and they stuck to it. And Rodgers did try a plan B and swap things about. And fair play to him. But you're not going to win every game. But Liverpool, you know, they do seem to grind out results, win games, and they do seem to have the VAR on their side, which is probably, you know, games where Liverpool do seem to struggle. They do just seem to have that VAR bit of luck or whatever. No doubt I'll get some abuse for that. Look, so fucking what? The other thing is that I've made a note of is that City fans do seem to be getting used to this winning mentality that down Leicester. You know, we've got to remember that Brendan Rodgers he's not even been here a year yet, and he's done such great things. I think this is going to take a fair few years to try and get the finished product or the product that he's built that, you know, we can sustain and continue to challenge or to continue to be up there. I think at the moment we're just fortunate that Arsenal are shit, and they are shit, aren't they? And I don't like to say that because, I do like Arsenal. Man U are shit, but they're just seeming to be turning the corner. Chelsea are struggling now. You know, they've lifted that transfer embargo, and then it's Man City are struggling. I mean, it's in the papers today that Pep's being told to go and raid Leicester for Evans. How about fuck off, Pep? You know, if you can't manage, you know, these teams, they come in and they say, oh, they're doing really well, but they just seem to buy all the fucking players that are playing well at the moment or whatever. So it's a bit of a piss take, to be fair. But I think Leicester are just fortunate that Arsenal are shit, Chelsea are not doing that well, although they are doing well, kind of thing. I know I'm contradicting myself. Man City are losing it as such. They've got problems. Arsenal are, Man United are, Spurs, I forgot all about Spurs, even though they're on the way up again with Jose. So I think Leicester are just fortunate the fact that they're not fortunate that Liverpool are playing so well and running away with it, but they're just fortunate that the other 5 or 6 teams are struggling. So, but then again, that's what football's about. You've got to get in there, you've got to get up, and you've got to get stuck in. So, right, so I've got Everton in with this week in the Cup. We'll see what cracks off there, and hopefully if I see it, I'll give another Fox sake, but don't rely on this because if I don't see the game, I won't do it for Fox's sake. Alright folks, laters.